but more than cost, faith sustained. Not every message comes in words, not every call is plainly heard, but something in him stirs and wakes and knows the shape the silence takes. He opens, and the warmth believed, quiet whispers, messages received.
Deity is, I am convinced, fixated on vision and visual references to the exclusion of all other senses. Her messages are often sent as mere signal. Fireflies, dust motes, a sparkle of indeterminate light, the aura, the dawn on Mount Estoliana. Signs and portents in the heavens, eclipses, comets, aurora borealis, after images. When she must visit in person, however, a detail emerges that is only obvious after reading many accounts. She dresses appropriate to the era, the social status of the one she visits, and the circumstances of the visit itself. She would always fit in, to perfection. The most notable account was that of Cathaya, inconsolable, weeping beside the green, bubbling pond in the spirit grove, who was met by an older woman with work-worn hands, wearing the clothing and, more importantly, the mien of Estolia. Healthy, focused, neither overworked nor lazy, her head held high, carrying the self-assurance and presence that is typical only to Estolian culture. Therein lay her secret, her ability to reach those who needed her guidance in precisely the ways her guidance would be accepted. Jeremiah Zakarian, Inscrito.
Xavier heard hooves galloping toward him along the pathway. Horace lifted his head alertly, ears forward. Rickety burst into the forest glade, Max low over the white stallion's neck, his face drained of colour. Behind him came Antonio on his aging rig, 17 years old now, still willing, and behind Antonio, a stream of elders and acolytes from the temple, more than a dozen of them filling the narrow pathway. Others, he guessed, had been sent ahead to the palace for the healer. Antonio nearly flew out of the saddle before the rig had fully stopped. He crossed the clearing in long strides and dropped to one knee beside Xavier at the large mossy rock. His eyes went not to the leg, but to Xavier's face.
You must receive a blessing.
Xavier reached up and rested his hand briefly against Horace's nose. The black gelding exhaled softly against his palm. Then he gathered the reins and held them out to Max. Max took them without a word. Xavier looked up at his uncle and nodded before he bowed his head. The warm touch of his uncle's hands settled over him like reassurance itself.
Xavier Archimedes Zakarian. As the future keeper, you are in a unique position where the intricacies of spirituality and leadership intersect. Yours will be a challenging, exacting, and ultimately fulfilling lifetime spent serving Estolia. Your Kaylee will find a deeper and more sure solace with you than either of you could ever envision. Your connection with deity as keeper will be fraught with greater challenges than any one man should ever have to face. But in the end, you will finish your tenure as the keeper and feel as if everything that has happened to you was for the greater good. The rewards for your faith and service will be more than you are currently capable of imagining. When coupled with the rewards you will encounter in Torizon, you will be overwhelmed by the sheer abundance of blessings that will come to you. Remember, Xavier, that while there is much that is required and an even greater cost that you will pay, the rewards will be in excess of all that you have been asked to give. Keep your faith active at all times. Your role in Estolia was defined from before you were born. You will gain great insights throughout your tenure as keeper. This injury, while grievous, will heal with a speed that will demonstrate how close deity walks with you. Estolia has always been blessed with healers more advanced than any other land. You will discover this for yourself. The final thing deity wishes you to understand is how critical your love for your brother is to his success. He needs to know that you support him as the king of Estolia, that you will always be there to advise him, that your connection, the one to the other, is nearly as profound as the relationships the two of you will discover with your Kayleys. The love you both share is quite literally the strongest between any other king and keeper. Deity commands that you do not allow him to feel guilt over this injury you have sustained. Deity wished for you to learn a necessary lesson. Neither of you are to blame for what has happened here. Know that Deity will grant you, in your tenure as last resort and keeper of the soul of Estolia, greater spiritual blessings than anyone else who has ever filled this role. I proclaim all of these blessings and promises in the light and sight of Deity.
Xavier opened his eyes and looked up at his uncle. The peace suffusing his uncle's face gave him greater relief than anything else. He had not forgotten the whisper he had received just before the fall. His brother was alive and safe. Ten days later, Xavier finally had the chance to speak with his brother about the accident at the pond. Max was lying on Xavier's bed next to him, both of them staring up at the mural.
"How is your leg?"
Max asked. Xavier rolled his head to one side and saw that his brother was wearing an unusually serious expression.
Deity promised it would heal rapidly, and it is.
He grimaced at the memory. The healer had said the itching meant the bone was knitting.
It itches a bunch.
Max giggled, but his giggles ended rapidly and silence fell between them. Xavier turned to look at his brother.
"I am sorry, Zed."
Max said, his eyes damp with suppressed tears.
"I did not mean to do it.
For what? You did not make me jump off the mossy rock.
I pretended to be drowned.
He admitted.
You would not have been on the rock without my trying to play a dirty trick on you. You almost searched for me in the pond."
He swallowed.
"You almost drowned."
You got my attention before that.
Xavier pointed out.
"But if I did not?"
Max tried again. Xavier laughed outright.
Brother, I knew you were not in the water. Am I not the next keeper? I had only to imagine what Uncle would tell me and then follow his advice. The spirit whispered to me that you were not in the water, and then I decided to prank you back, make you think I did not know you were safe, the look on your face. Then I ruined the whole thing by breaking my stupid leg."
Max was silent for a while, digesting that information. Finally, he reached out a hand. Xavier grabbed it, clasping it with all his strength.
"We shall always rule together, brother, will we not?"
Max asked, his voice tremulous. Xavier agreed.
We will work and rule together. The only other rulers of Estolia who have ever been as close as we will be were the other twins.
"Not all of them."
Max whispered. Xavier shuddered. He reached out with his left hand and gripped his brother's forearm. Max did the same. They held that position for a moment, right hands clasped, left hands locked around each other's forearms. They would never turn on each other. Of that, at least, they were certain. After a time, Max asked him,
"Do you still want to visit the Seven Secrets?
Xavier looked back up at the mural.
Or do you think your injury was a warning to avoid them?"
Xavier had considered that question often in the days since the accident. When he sought the guidance of Deity, he felt only one overwhelming response.
I believe, Max, that our experience helped me to realize that I should be the keeper and you should be king. I used to be jealous, think it was not fair. But I got over it there by the green pond and the mossy rock, when I learned how to talk with Deity. I think
He paused.
Deity was cautioning me against my jealousy and also trying to see that you learned a personal lesson too. We cannot continue to make those mistakes, Max. I do not think that our mistake was our destination so much as our attitudes.
Max sighed but did not say anything. Xavier looked away from the mural to his brother and saw tears on his face.
What is it, Max?
Zed, I was jealous too. I did not think it was fair that I was a twin and that you got nearly everything I got. That is why I pulled the prank on you. But I realize now that we are in this together, just like all the other kings and their keepers. I am sorry I was jealous.
Are you still?
Xavier asked. Max's expression shifted, the worry clearing, a smile spreading wide across his face, his eyes brightening with it.
No, Zed, I am not still jealous. I want only to share my entire life with you.
For just a moment, he felt a wash of warmth and peace passing over his entire body. Following that came recognition. He had felt this before, at the mossy rock. Deity was confirming that they got it right. He was not sure which gave him greater pleasure, the confirmation from Deity, or how swiftly he was able to recognize it this time. Xavier smiled.
We will have to wait until next summer to return to the first secret,
he said. Then he added in a whisper,
or the summer after.
As fast as it was healing, the break had been catastrophic. He had heard the healer say so more than once. There was no clean way to hold the bones together. Instead, he would spend the next 2 months strung up in ropes and pulleys, like a ship's torn sails caught in the rigging after a storm, and after that the better part of the summer in a cast. The healer was not even sure the leg would set right. A bad limp, probably. He could live with that. A permanently weak leg. That would be worse. But there was still a chance he might lose it entirely, like Ulysses in Capitulo 38. They would not even know until the summer solstice. After a short time, Xavier glanced at his brother and was not surprised to see that he was asleep. He was tired himself. The conversation had wrung something out of him, and he was still strung up in ropes and pulleys. His eyes moved across the mural, tracing the numbers in order. The 2 was tucked into the waterfall above Lake Eternity. The 3 hid near the tip of the Dragonspine Islands. The 4 nestled in the Danieli Hills above Pirate's End. The 5 waited in the forest south of Lake Eternity, among the Old Mothers. The 6 marked the region of Mount Promisa. As he searched out the 7th secret, on the shoulder of Mount Estoliana, something on the rocky crown jumped into sharp relief. There was an 8. He pictured his brother's excitement. If Max was standing when he learned, he would dance from foot to foot, unable to contain himself. A prickling across his shoulders and from the nape of his neck down his spine interrupted his thoughts. He glanced from his brother asleep to the mural above his head, trying to understand what he was feeling. The artistic rendering of the mountain and the entrance to the temple was exceptionally detailed. Understanding flooded through him. The 8th secret was for him and him alone. On the heels of that realization, he felt yet again that wash of warm affirmation from Deity.
His brother's face gone white as day. A blessing settles hands in peace, the weight of all that was released. The future named, the cost made plain. But more than cost, faith sustained.